Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I'd like to take a closer look at Angeal's new launch kit and share with you my opinion on it. Stalwart integrity first, and I find this weapon one of Angeal's very best weapons, because that's a physical camera but kind of reversed. It has nice stats, amazing R abilities with 62 HP, but this command ability is what really matters because it applies high potency physical defense shield per cast, and if Angeal is above 70% HP it also increases physical attack, also with high potency. Camera has high potency physical attack buff, and if Aerith is above 70% HP it also applies high potency magic defense buff. But Angeal's weapon is a lot more safe because you have a guaranteed high potency physical shield, so you are always safe, and you also get that additional physical attack buff. It also requires 4 AEB per cast, and yes, the duration is a little bit shorter with 20 seconds, but you can extend it by stacking buff-debuff extension. It's such a good and versatile support weapon with that guaranteed physical defense buff. Type 91 two-hander is another weapon I find really good because it's essentially a single target Kuja but slightly different. It has nice stats, standard abilities, but it also applies mid-potency physical attack debuff, and if Angeal is above 50% HP then also mid-potency magic attack debuff. And it costs only 3 AEB and has a diamond sigil. It is outstanding, and the only downside is that yes, max potency on physical attack debuff is high, whereas on magic attack it remains at mid, but overall it's amazing with 3 AEB and diamond sigil, where in many hard battles we have to fit that damn sigil somewhere, and here you have 2 in 1. Then there is Shinra Greatsword Model 1 with very nice stats and R abilities, and it applies a high potency earth debuff but also grants Veil, a shield that absorbs 10% damage of max HP, and it's a debuffing weapon, so buff debuff extension here fits very nicely, and overall it's a very similar weapon to Vincent's Chiron, but this one is physical instead of magic. Now Sequoia Dendron has a very nice physical attack stat, great R abilities with lowered physical attack but increased earth potency, and it also deals 600% physical earth damage. However, the lower Angeal's HP, the higher the ability potency, meaning that a very low HP Angeal can do up to 1200% earth damage. And I think Sequoia Dendron paired with Shinra Greatsword Model 1 are a great physical earth set for Angeal, and with Angeal being protected by Veil, it might not be as risky to keep him at lower HP. So overall it looks like a very nice earth DPS combo even without earth Arcanum outfit. Innocent Warrior looks like a more mediocre weapon to use on Angeal because it's one of those AoE elemental weapons, so that's 520% magic fire damage to all enemies. So they don't hit very hard, but that AoE damage is very nice in some certain situations. It also has amazing R abilities with lowered magic attack but increased fire potency, and it could be used on Angeal, but those R abilities make it a very nice sub-weapon for another magic DPS. Sissy Alloy Sword is another elemental weapon with a very nice magic attack stat, lowered lightning potency but increased magic attack, so if you would equip it in main weapon slot, Angeal's magic attack would be maxed out, but it's that command ability that I find amazing because 900% magic lightning damage to a single enemy, and it's a free-to-play launch weapon. That's insanely good because we have been getting those 900% or higher only on banner weapons so far, and this sword can compete with other lightning DPS weapons. Gargantuan Monolith has lowered attack stats but increased heal because it's one of those purely defensive weapons. It also is the very first non-summon weapon with HP and 52 MDEF, and this alone makes this weapon an outstanding sub-weapon for any character for a harder battle. But if you use it on Angeal, you will apply Provoke on himself, making enemies ignore other characters and target only him, and it also increases his magic defense with high potency and casts a 15% heal. Those are self buffs, but I can see some situations where it could be useful, but it's mostly that HP and MDef that I find most amazing about this weapon. Greatsword A is another physical weapon with increased physical ability potency and decreased physical attack, and it targets all enemies and increases their physical defense with high potency, and also applies Veil on Angeal. It doesn't have to hit very hard because it's a debuffing weapon, but that high potency AoE PDF debuff sounds great, and those abilities are also very appealing. Lastly, Type 90 Longsword has a very high physical defense with lowered physical ability potency, so it could be useful in some situations. It also deals 750% non-elemental damage and applies Provoke on Angeal with a tiny heal. I think it's Angeal's weakest weapon. It's not bad, just pales in comparison to his other launch weapons, but I guess that high PDF could be useful in a battle or two as a sub-weapon. Angeal also has 3 limit breaks, and the first one is Heavy Assault, and it deals 1260% damage at level 5, so at level 10 it should deal 2100% damage, and the lower Angeal's HP the harder it hits, so it could do triple amount of damage at most. It's not bad at all, but it also has that 1800 charge speed, and it doesn't have any other utility, and often it's better to use summons over pure DPS limit breaks. I find Angeal's second limit break much better because it debuffs both physical and magic attack with mid potency, but also has only 800 charge speed, and it targets all enemies. I think this is really amazing because with that very fast charge speed you can use it very often, and it targeting all enemies is even better. So it's kind of like limit break Kuja, but max potency remains mid. His last limit break is very interesting because Ad Astra applies Veil on the whole team with 20% of max HP, meaning that your entire team is protected and won't take that 20% damage of their max HP until that overshield is depleted. Yes, 1800 charge speed makes it a slower charge time, but I have seen on Akinamori's recent B100 clear video that using Ad Astra can make your team immune to Venom or other statuses as long as that Veil is active. So it really is huge, because until now we had nothing to fight against Venom, so I wouldn't underestimate this limit break at all. Overall, I think Angeal looks like an amazing and versatile character unit. He has some DPS weapons like Magic Lightning or Physical Earth, and he also has that limit break physical War Arcanum set as well, but it's those support and defensive weapons and ability to provoke and veil that I find truly amazing about him, because they can make those hard battles easier or more manageable, because in those hard battles we can't DPS if we are dead. But also I have noticed that Applebot started to introduce personalized character gimmicks lately. Vincent filling up his limit gauge much faster, and now Angeal with Provoke and Veil. It makes those characters very unique and interesting to use, but I am also conflicted because comparing them to all other characters in the game, there is nothing unique about them other than banner sets that give them arcanums or support weapons, and I wish they too had something unique to them, because Vincent and Angeal have that big advantage with their own gimmicks. But personally I didn't find Vincent very appealing or as appealing as Angeal, because recently the game started to force us to put a lot into defenses, and Angeal has a lot of defensive potential when you might need it. This, and also I like Angeal as a character, especially after having played that story chapter where he got introduced, and also all his animations look so cool. So yeah, I'm struggling a lot not to give in and pull on his limit break banner to expand his moveset, because his banner outfit is also very versatile with defense for all allies are ability. So I'm curious what you think about Angeal as a unit. and his starting kits. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.